Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander listeners are advised that mentions of deceased people are contained within this episode of National Indigenous Times Daily Bulletin episode today. This week has seen a mix of historic milestones and urgent systemic concerns for Aboriginal communities across Australia. Marion Scrimgeour made history as the first Aboriginal person to preside over the House of Representatives from the Speaker's chair, calling it a powerful moment of representation and change. In stark contrast, a Victorian coronial inquest found that the death of 30-year-old Heather Calgarrett in custody was preventable, exposing serious failures in prison healthcare for Aboriginal women. Meanwhile, an ABC investigation revealed that nearly 400 Indigenous children were detained in NT police watch houses over 6 months, some for up to 25 days, prompting MP Yingia Mark Guyala to condemn the conditions as heartbreaking. In Western Australia, eligible recipients of the $180 million stolen wages settlement have been warned of a scam targeting Aboriginal people through Facebook, prompting urgent alerts from administrators and legal advocates. More of that later. Kaya, I'm Leanne Djilandi Dolby, and this is the National Indigenous Times Daily News Bulletin for the 28th of July, 2025. Marion Scrimgeour made history this week as the first Aboriginal person to preside over Australia's House of Representatives from the Speaker's chair. The member for Lingiari and proud Northern Territorian reflected on the significance of the moment, both for Parliament and for young Aboriginal people across the country, declaring that Aboriginal people deserve to be in every chair at every table. Scrimgeour, whose late father was a member of the Stolen Generations, described the achievement as deeply personal and a sign of slow but powerful change. A coronial inquest has found that the death of Heather Calgarrett, a 30-year-old Yamaji Noongar, Wongai and Panjajara woman, was likely caused by the inappropriate prescription and administration of opioid dependence treatment while she was imprisoned at Victoria's Dame Phyllis Frost Centre. Ms. Calgarrett, a mother of 4, was less than 10 weeks away from completing her sentence when she was found unresponsive in her cell on November 23, 2021. She later died in hospital on November 27th. The inquest revealed that Heather administered buprenorphine the day before her collapse. Coroner Sarah Gilbert's findings confirmed that the dose was inappropriate and that it contributed to respiratory depression, cardiac arrest, and her death, and that no adequate monitoring was put in place to respond to potential adverse effects. A nurse administered the drug without knowing the proper stabilisation had not occurred. And Ms. Calgarrett's prior request for opioid replacement therapy had been denied just weeks earlier. Although she had shown signs of being unwell, staff failed to escalate her care. The coroner ruled that her death was preventable and reflected broader systemic failures in healthcare within Victoria's prison system, particularly for Aboriginal women. The inquest also highlighted serious gaps in mental health care, with Ms. Calgarrett seen by psychiatric nurse practitioner only 4 times during her sentencing, despite over 100 medical appointments. She had given birth while incarcerated, but her request to participate in the Living with Mum program, which would have allowed her to keep her baby with her in custody. The conditions of children in cells reduced MP Yingia Mark Guyala to tears when he thought about children in the NT who were incarcerated. An ABC investigation has revealed that nearly 400 children were detained in Northern Territory police watch houses over 6 months, exposing systemic failures, potential breaches of human rights, and deep flaws in data transparency. Between August 25, 2024 and March 5, 2025, NT Police recorded 870 youth custody events over 6 watch houses involving 402 individual children. 388 of those were Indigenous, which amounted to 96% of these individual children being Indigenous. While most were reported in custody for less than 24 hours, some records show detainment periods that were lasting from 6 to 25 days. Though NT Police have disputed the accuracy of their data, the NT prison numbers have surged to 2,842, 600 more than the previous year, with almost 90% of those being identified as Indigenous, and nearly half of them are on remand, which means that they have not been convicted or sentenced. Aboriginal people eligible for Western Australia's $180 million stolen wages settlement are being targeted by a scammer falsely offering assistance in exchange for money. The scam, which is circulated via Facebook Messenger, requests $300 to fast-track compensation payments. At least one claimant has received these messages promising access to settlement funds in return for money to various accounts. The warning comes after a concerned community member reported that Maru people in remote Jigalong community were among those targeted. Grant Thornton Australia, the court-appointed administrator of the scheme, has since issued a public warning on its official website and via direct emails to claimants, urging people not to respond to such messages. The WA settlement offers $16,500 per eligible Aboriginal claimant affected by wage withholding policies between 1936 to 1972. A similar settlement, which has reached in the NT last year for $202 million. Shine lawyers involved in the case confirmed they had notified ScamWatch and advised anyone concerned to contact the scheme administrator directly. And that's today's Daily News Roundup from the National Indigenous Times. For more news, head to nit.com.au and sign up for our free newsletter.